What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Loomis Show. If you saw the earlier thumbnail that was up for a little while, I apologize about that. That was not clickbait. That's actually another show that I will be doing and working on, though, with someone. This live is going to be like more loose and stuff like that, about Whitey Bulger. It just dawned on me. I never really did an episode on him. And it's probably like the most well versed I am with anyone like in the like with criminal organizations out there. So I just wanted to go over those some stuff that's like that, that's out there that's just totally wrong, that people are saying that just isn't the truth. But hold on one second here while I get this. To bubble that up. Yeah, I don't think that annoys me. And if it's your first time here, please hit that like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And let's just say a couple hellos inside the comments. OG Rube, what's going on? Thanks for being here. Unlocking Paradox, how you doing, my friend? Most positive human being on earth right there. Love that guy. Adam Rogers, what's going on, buddy? Salute from the Crafty One channel. Let me tell you what, you guys from Canada, I'm coming out there. I'll be in Canada in May. I'll be out there with Bobby, and we'll be doing some shows out there together, some walk and talks from where him and Dean and their old stomping grounds and all that. And I'm really looking forward to that. And actually, it'll be the first time that I'm actually out of the country, so which is Canada. But I'm still, I mean, nevertheless, I'm not Canada or whatever. Like my dream is always like Ireland or this or that though. But hey, I'll take it though. And thank you to Bobby Bright for hooking it up. And I'm looking forward to coming out there. And we're definitely going to be doing some good stuff out there. He's gonna, where a lot of historic stuff happened. Because Canada still, in mob terms, it's just like how it was around these parts in America, I should say, and on like New York, Chicago, all that. It's still wild out there, and I'm just fascinated though with the history of it. I'm fascinated that it's still like that out there compared to here. Meaning, like here, it's just gun era type stuff. It's like done, for the most part. But Canada, like I could see if like, here, like, it went down a little bit, but I mean, compared to how it was, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, after 2013 in America, it was pretty much done. But Canada just never let up. It's still the same. A lot of people think it's because of Rico, but after talking to Bobby, they have the gangsterism law. I mean, you still go away for 25 to life for murder. So Canada's wild. But Adam Rogers, thank you. And Crafty's the man. He made another video I saw from me and Bobby. And Crafty, shout out to you. I really appreciate what you've been doing. And everyone who's been coming over from Canada is nothing but gentlemen. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Who else we got? DJ, what's going on? Great to see you here as well. This was last minute. So, what's up, Andrew? Good to see Andrew Dumas in the house. How you doing? Primo, what's up? My man Primo from Chicago, from the Windy City. Primo knows his stuff. He knows his music. He knows his true crime. And knows it all. He's a gentleman and good friend. And just a great guy all around. And thanks for being here, Primo. Appreciate you. DJ, sounds good. I can't wait to be out there. Mustang Mike, how you doing, my friend? Great to see you. Adam Rogers, what do you think about this guy? I'm not going to get into that. you probably don't know, but I'm not going to get into that. I'll explain it to you another time. And you didn't ask anything wrong, but that's not the what I'm here for. Um, yeah, I heard of him, and yeah, here, I'll answer it. What do you think about this guy Shay Red, apparently from Whitey's crew, doing the rounds on podcast? You ever heard of him, Loomis? Yes, he ran the drug entity for Whitey's organization, and he wrote a book called Rat Bastards. I heard of him before, yes, and he definitely ran was head of the drug operation for Bulger. So definitely heard of him. And he's doing rounds on the podcast. And yes, I heard of him. Who else we got? But I will tell you this. There's one guy out there though, his first name's Sean. If you see him, no, like he's totally absolutely not involved at all. Nobody knows who he is, meaning people from out there. And it's incredible how he got a book deal. And he absolutely never met Whitey Bulger or any of those guys for that matter. Kevin Weeks, Pat Nee, any of them. They don't know who he is. And he's going around. It's I guess a lot of these podcasts, they don't vet people. So crazy. Oh, Adam Rogers, don't worry about it. You didn't know. All good. Mustang Mike. Yes, he did. Andrew Demise. He's on Joey Merlino's. Okay, well, we're not here to bash him. Um, and whatever, people know he was a very good friend of mine, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. So what I'm here to talk about is because we already went over all of that type of stuff, and it's time to move forward and move on. And you know, but it is though. What I do find funny is that like a lot of people though, in like Whitey's, like, because I got comments going, like they're arguing back and forth, and that's what this show is like pretty much about. There's comments arguing back and forth, going. Someone was like, "Oh, well, so and so said though that so and so is questionable because Whitey ran the Winter Hill gang and all this and but la di da da da." Like, no, he didn't. Winter Hill Gang was done in 1978. That's a fact. And the reason how I know that too is because a gentleman named Tony Shola from the Buffalinos from down here, he would come down here, and Angelo Buffalino, who was indicted on 47 horse race fixing schemes, which he didn't do anything. I mean, he was not guilty and anything like that. But Russell Buffalino and Howie Winter were very close. They were real tight. And Howie Winter was fantastic human being, meaning in like that world compared to like a Whitey Bulger and like Stephen Fleming, who were like pure evil. And Howie Winter though was a good guy. I mean, he had not a good guy. A good guy meaning in the sense of like, didn't like murder, didn't go after women, didn't he was. I never heard a bad word said about him from the people that I met out there, and I met, the real ones out there, and compared to, and if you know about that whole situation, Winter Hill absolutely, unequivocally was done in 1978. So Whitey Bulger, even though it might say in a Wikipedia, and some people even who worked for him and his crew, I see on interviews say he was in the Winter. No, he wasn't. And I'm not just saying, I'm just speaking fact. He was not in the Winter Hill Gang. It was over in 1978. That's a fact. You could go on a podcast called Bean Shooter where Kevin Weeks also says it, where the Winter Hill Gang stopped in 1978 as well. So that whole mix up. And a lot of people think the Winter Hill Gang was like the Irish mob. That's not true. It was started by a gentleman by the name of Buddy McLean, who was Irish, but there's Sicilians in the Winter Hill Gang, all that. And Howie Winter is part Sicilian. So they weren't the Irish mob. They're from Somerville, Massachusetts. But let's see. I always thought Winter Hill Gang was named after Howie Winter. I was wrong again. Yeah, you know what, though? When I first got into it, that's what I thought. But no, just it's an area out there in Somerville, Mass. Kevin Weeks was a tough guy. Well, yeah, I mean, listen, if you're riding next to Whitey Bulger, yeah. I got some shocking revelations that I didn't even know about until I found out, which you're not going to hear from me, that you're going to hear from someone else on this episode about Whitey. And, you know, that's why the first thumbnail that I had up, it said from Whitey's words, because, I mean, I have a lot of his memoirs and all that stuff, some audio, because I was working on a project 2 years ago that was called From the Grave, and right there, Whitey from the Grave. Basically, we never really seen his side of the story, and but then I had a bunch of actors involved, and then the SAG strike happened, and then like we were gonna do it in Boston, and I mean just the cost alone and all that. It was like the first time I ever even tried doing anything. So what I'm doing now with the Buffalinos, and it's a hometown project, is just a smarter move for the first project. Maybe down the road eventually I'll do Unknown Bulger, but for now we're sticking though with this. But I knew I should have put up the other picture because it doesn't even cover the whole thing. 47 Pocono Downs, also indicted Joseph Cannell, Pocono Downs, Sheriff Bird. This is where Angelo Buffalino, this was the arrest, though, that he was in, and Tony Shula. So what happened, though, was if you guys ever typed in Whitey Bulger, Russell Buffalino, you'll see, though, that Tony Shula had guys come down to the racetrack, which is literally right up the road from where I'm at. And Russell didn't know, like, who's this guy, and this is after Howie Winter. And then eventually, when he told him that he was involved with Whitey, according to the paperwork, then it said, though, that they agreed, though, to split the track 50-50, which I find hard to believe. That knowledge came from Matt Burbeck, because Whitey, when you think about it, compared to Russell Buffalino, it's night and day. Like, not night and day. I mean, how many soldiers did Whitey Bulger have compared to like a Russell Buffalino with the Italians? But I always wondered about Whitey. Like, a lot of people talk trash on Whitey now, and I get it because, the informant and all that. But how come no one made a move on that guy? Like, if he was so, like, back in the day, that's what I don't understand. What I do, though, understand, and well, I'm not going to tell. I'll play a clip, play two clips, actually. And if you were watching the show before, I know that I played one of them, but this right here, that's Chip Janis, who was in Tucson, Arizona, Tucson Penitentiary with Whitey, and some other. That one just a smaller little pic, though. Other natives. Whitey was real close with the natives in there. They liked him, and so he hung out with them. Chip was like the art teacher, and let me see. I have one thing, though, that I think this. Yeah, check this out. I mean, Whitey was very intelligent. So here's Chip Janis explaining how he met him. He never knew who Whitey was beforehand.
All the stuff I was bringing up with the crew, he had a lot of respect for Pat Nee.
Sorry, no, that was the wrong one.
I taught an art class in a federal penitentiary, and I had to get to a class I was teaching. And to get to the class I was teaching, I took a shortcut through the yard, and I was walking through the yard with my folders and a few art pieces, and he was sitting on a bench on the side by the fence with one of my friends named Sean West, and he was getting an autograph from Whitey for his dad. And I didn't know, but he was like, "Hey, come here, Chip." So I went over there and he said, "This guy wants to meet you." So I was like, "All right." I said, "Hey, what's up?" And I still didn't know who he was. He said, "I'd like to shake your hand because," he said, he said, "You know who I am?" I said, "No." He said, he introduced himself and as James Bulger. And he said, "I've been all over the world," he said, "and I've never seen no art like yours." And he said, would you mind if I came down and talked to you?" He said, "You know, I was in Alcatraz." And I said, "No, I don't even know who you are." I said, "Yeah, why don't you come down and hang out?" I said, I got the whole art room. I was painting a picture of a Native American that he knew. He said, "I know who you're painting." And I said, who am I?" And I said, "No, you don't know who I'm painting." He said, "Yeah." He said, "I know." And I thought he was full of shit. And he said, "That's White Man Runs Him. That's one of Custer's, General George Custer's, Armstrong Custer's scouts." And I was like, wow.
So as you can see, Whitey was very well read. Chip was like every time though he would pay, like every time he would paint a certain type of name, because he's Native American though himself. And Whitey was very well read, big history buff and stuff like that. He was just blown away by how smart the guy though was, and that was his first encounter with him. He didn't even know who he was until he looked him up, and then he was just like, "Oh shit," So I think it's pretty neat though to actually hear from someone that saw him. That was actually before he went to Coleman. Then he went to Coleman. Then after Coleman, he went to Hazleton. And then we all know what happened to him there. Um, so as everyone knows, Whitey Bulger ran the Irish mob in South Boston from, I'd say, Winter Hill was done in 78. So from then until he went on the run in 94 and the indictments came down, you had John Connolly and John Morris and many, many other feds that weren't named. Definitely not just those two, but so I mean the feds though were definitely more to blame than actually Whitey and Stevie. Stevie though was at informants in '65 from H. Ball Rico, and then Whitey they say came on board in 1975 as a top echelon informant. And what it was that I'm just doing a basic backstory on him here. The FBI was just gung ho on getting the Italians because that if you arrest someone like Whitey, it's just like another gang member. But if you arrest like the Italian mob, I mean, you're moving up. And John Connolly, they made an alliance, and he moved up, but eventually, as everyone knows who follows the story, Connolly was charged for it was I remember I couldn't remember his name though, but it was the Callahan murder in Florida that happened because Roger Wheeler was Oklahoma, was killed by John Monorano, and this is all public record, public knowledge. He had a place called World Highlight, I believe you call it, and where they had a piece in there, and Wheeler ended up buying the company, and he got real strict and was doing audits and stuff and realized something was wrong with the books. And that's when Whitey and Stevie had Monorano go out there and kill him. And they put one, Johnny Monorano put one right in between his eyes. And he says that in himself. Also, another interesting thing Johnny Monorado says is because Sammy the Bull has a real lot of subscribers, and Sammy said that Stevie Flemmi, Sammy did a whole episode where Flemmi was like, so basically, let's just say I'm Sammy, and Sammy was saying, this guy Whitey Bulger was like insane, and I talked to a guy who worked with Stevie Flemmi because they were at one point when Sammy was away, he was in there with Flemmi, and Flemmi told him that he was like, afraid of like Whitey and wanted to try to get away. Yeah, I mean, you can see the episode for yourself on Sammy's channel. And but Stevie just didn't know how to get away. He's like, this guy killed my stepdaughter, this guy killed my girlfriend, la di da da da. But in the book Hitman John Monterado, though, his book, he says though that Whitey though didn't though kill those women. It was Stevie. And but besides that, Stevie Fleming was I believe more of a sicko than Whitey. Whitey used to just get a kick out of how nuts he actually was. So if you ever seen that episode, that information is absolutely false. Stephen Fleming was not trying to get out of that life, and absolutely was not trying to get away from Whitey and all that stuff. But that's I guess what he told Sammy, because Sammy did a whole episode on it. And that's the thing, like with these things, like a lot of people have a real lot of subscribers, and maybe it's not his fault or whatever, but maybe that's what he was told by Flemmy. But I find it that laughable. If you know anything about the story, everyone knows that Stephen Flemmy was, and then even his brother before that, who was killed, the bear. I believe he was killed in 65, was it 66, sometime during the gang war period. The book, where do I just had that? Oh, right here. This book here, if you want to know about the gang wars and everything, is fantastic. For 300 pages it actually labels like everyone who was involved. Usually like, a book, this could be like an autobiography on one person, but the way how this author, I guess his name is Mark Sangini, he explains the whole story, and there's so much like character development in it for only 300 pages for all the characters that are in this. It's unreal, because it goes all the way back from Buddy McLean and all the way up to the Bulger days. So yeah, but that's a bunch of BS. So this live right here is more like, a lot of stuff that's just done, that I'm just going to debunk for you as though right now. And that never absolutely happened with Steve Fleming. Wasn't trying to get away and was afraid and this and that and trying to turn his life around. So if you ever seen that episode, that's a bunch of malarkey. Hey Frank, how you doing, my friend? Loomis, is Howie Winter still alive? No, he's not, but you guys need to watch something. It's on Tubi, and it's free actually. If you just go on there and type in Bloody Boston, it's real good. The author of Citizens of Somerville is in it. Pat Nee's in it. Pat Nee now was he was Pat Nee was the hands-on IRA main guy who was like involved with the IRA. Like that's pretty much how Whitey had that connection. Yes, Whitey helped out. Whitey got like the guns and helped out with getting the guns and stuff like that and gave the nod and all that stuff. But Pat Nee was the real IRA connection with that. And Pat Nee was also Vietnam vet. And I was at Pat Nee's house back in where are you now, 25, so 2023, and he's a gentleman, great guy. And if you ever watch the documentaries, you'll see how they Pat Nee's like, Stevie, we would be talking like about well, whether it's a ball game or whether it's just this or that. And Stevie was just like, not there until like, they got back into talking like about like murders or whatever the hell it was or whatever. But, he would just be like lost, like, like he couldn't be like, you couldn't sit down with Stephen Fleming and like have a drink. Pat Nee, you could sit down with and have a drink with. And, he's actually a nice guy, but very capable, obviously. And what shocked me, though, the most about Pat Nee, which I'll show you in a second, we had that was Castle Island when I was out there. Got some shots for when I was doing, though, this year. But what I was shocked about, though, the whole thing, and not a lot of people know this, and this is a fact, because someone else, I don't know if anyone saw the live the other night, who came on, who was also in Tucson, said the same thing. But check this out.
I taught an art class in a federal penitentiary, and all the stuff I was bringing up with the crew. He had a lot of respect for Pat Nee. He liked that guy. He had a lot of respect for Pat. So, from my understanding, Pat was on the opposite gang during the Irish War. A lot of people got killed during that time. So Whitey told me one time. He said I had a flat tire, and that saved me from getting killed one time. He said I was supposed to go to a meeting. He said and meet a couple other guys over. I don't know who got killed that time. I don't know, but he said I was on my way, and he said I got a flat tire, so I had to pull over and change the tire in the parking lot. So I changed the tire. I took off to the meeting, and he said everybody already got shot up over there. He said everybody that was in the meeting who I was supposed to meet up with, he said they all got shot. He said that was during the war too. I copied a lot of that lottery stuff from the law library. Like you just push a button and then you go to the library and you buy a card, and then you can swipe the card and you can pay for copies of like people's paperwork and all that. So I printed out a bunch of stuff, had Pat Nee on there, and he was reading some of it, and he was like, "That's a good dude," he said.
What shocked me the most though about that though was they were on like opposite sides of the war in the beginning. In the gang war, Whitey, what a lot of people don't realize is when that gang war was going on, he was away. He was still in prison. So, and I think 67 people got killed in that war. So if he was, he was on the losing side of that war, and then they made a truce with Pat. So when he said that, and then I got clarification from someone else though who said that, I think it was just more like of a respect thing, because there's also a news, if you could actually look it up, there's David Bowery when Pat gets out of he was working down at the dig when he got out of prison, and he's like the one man that Whitey Bulger feared or whatever at one time, like because they used to like Pat would like try hunting him and go after him and all that type of stuff, and wasn't afraid of him. He I was shocked when I actually though heard that. I'm like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it's actually like in the memoirs. So then I talked to him on the phone, and I was like, "Did you mean like respecting him because he had balls?" And he's like, "No, no, no. He really liked the guy. He's like, he served, he did time, this and that. He's like, the more he thought stuff over, and this and that. Like he just said, he was just a straight up guy, never cooperated, never did anything like that, and you know, Pat's still alive and still out there. And I would have to say, Howie Winter's gone now. So like, the one that's probably like, the most, realist one that said, did they cooperate? Nothing like that I would have to say it would be Pat Nee. And for Whitey to say that, this guy didn't know who Whitey was, Chip. And then he's like, they were all in there. And then this other guy comes on. If you guys were watching the live the other night, and then he was involved with the, oh my God, what's it called? Some type of, where they were blowing up buildings and stuff like that. They were in there, and he used to play chess with Chip all the time. And Whitey would be there watching. And he was like, he even said, like, in the comment section, he's like, yeah, no, he's like, the only one that he liked back there was Pat Nee out of like, everyone else. Cause he's like, everyone else turned on me and just started calling me a rat. Cause according to Whitey, of course, he's not going to say though that he was a rat and this or that, and including Pat. But I think maybe Whitey maybe had more of a respecting though for him because of the fact though that, he, he was winning. Like they were winning. Pat was in the Mullen gang and they were winning over the McLaughlins. And, I did not know that. Like I thought that Whitey, I would not think that, that he liked Pat Nee or any of that because of, they were enemies at one time. And then when Whitey went away, obviously everyone know who was saying I just figured he would just like hate everyone. But he said no. He's like, out of everyone, no, he really did like Pat Nee and talked about him a lot. Pat was like an armor car type guy. And there's a book out called A Criminal and an Irishman that he wrote. And he set up the Valhalla and all that type of stuff. And which sadly, John McIntyre was killed. And according to Pat, he said McIntyre didn't have to die. But Whitey, though, ended up trying to strangle him. The rope was too thick. And then he asked him, he goes, "Do you want one in the head?" And then McIntyre just said, "Yes, please." And the way Kevin Weeks explains it, too, he's like, just a man, like, there's this guy, you know you're going to die, but you're just like, "Yes, please." Like, you like just, and he buried him in the basement. And out there in Southie, that house is gone, though, now. But it was, they used to call it the Haunty, and they had to redig the bodies back up and all that. It's a condominium, no, like they built a condo now, but that was the house where it was. And there was 3 bodies there. I believe it was McIntyre, Deborah Davis, and Bucky Barrett. And then they had to move them. I think it was Halloween night. And what Whitey would do is he would dig a hole first. He was smart, very Machiavellian. He would dig the holes first, put $20 bills down, because nobody's not gonna, just leave a 20 down. Even no matter how rich you are, whatever, you see a $20 bill, you're gonna pick up a $20 bill. Come back the next day, $20 bill is still there. Then it's safe to put the bodies there. And then they had Kevin Weeks watch, and so they had to, because people bought the property, so they had to redig those bodies back up. And that's just crazy. Just I think out of every mafia story that's out there, this is by far the most insane. Like, his brother was the president of the Massachusetts Senate, and then he's running an Irish mob, the boss Irish mob, and has like the FBI in his pocket. And his informant file it's a joke. Was Whitey informant? Absolutely. But was he an informant like a Greg Scarpa? No, absolutely not. Because if you look at just look at their informant files together and other informant files. You could it's and people will get mad, and they can get as mad as they want. I don't know why they get mad about it. It's just the truth. But it's so obvious that there's someone in that FBI office protecting him. That was just delivering like repetitive information. And Whitey didn't sign one piece of paper, didn't fingerprint any of them. And then, where Scarpa's, and then the difference of them, they show it on one documentary. I think it's a CNN one, but the difference too in the informant files, where Scarpa's is 65,000 pages and Whitey's is like 320. So, yes, he was a top echelon informant, but should he have been a top echelon informant? No, he wasn't giving up he wasn't giving up information that was so valuable to, and plus he was paying the FBI. And that John Morris got away with. I don't know. I just don't like that guy, and I'm not going to say anything right now, but I know the reason why he ran to the Spotlight team, and you're going to find that out soon enough. But he's the one that ran to the Spotlight team because Whitey wanted to do something for him. So that's all I'm going to say on that. But Whitey, though, he was a big wine lover. Whitey would give him, paid him off, and not paid him off, but would pay for information and stuff like that, which is kind of weird, though, because, informants get paid. Because like Carmine Lombardozzi, he's top echelon informant, right? Because I know a lot about him, though, with the Buffalino project that I'm doing. They get paid. Whitey, though, was paying them. But the one thing that you can't account for, though, is when Stephen Flemmi, though, got picked up. Here's how I know Whitey, though, absolutely, though, had to be, though. And if this is where you can't say that he wasn't an informant. Why did Flemmi say then that they both, though, were informants when Whitey was already gone on the run? Stevie could have just been like, "Hey, I was an FBI informant. Like why would he say Whitey was too if Whitey wasn't? Like kind of like doesn't make sense. So that right there breaks the ice for me. Right, that's the deal breaker right there. If anyone's questioning whether he's an informant or not, but an informant to the level where everyone says that he's King Rat, he was the kingest. No, he wasn't. I mean that's just a fact. People aren't going to like that I say that, but if you do the research and really really dig in and look into the stuff, he wasn't. And you know, he's I personally, from everything that I saw with his informant file number and all that type of stuff, didn't see anything though with his own crew or anything that he was giving them up though. The one thing though, I guess he didn't tip off certain people. The big drug raid happened, like with the 50 people, which someone asked about John Shea. He was the head of the drug operation. Like Whitey didn't tip those guys off, but and that obviously would piss off. That's what pissed him off because he said that Whitey was like a father figure to him. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows how close Whitey was actually even going to get to going though to the drugs. Too as well. Andrew Dumas, what's up, my friend? I always like to jump back in and check with the comments. Kevin Weeks was a tough guy. Yes, I mean, if you're riding, but how about the story about how he's working at Triple O's? Whitey liked what he saw because he had no hesitancy and just knocking the brakes right off you. And so that movie Black Mass is a joke, but in the beginning, like that, I mean, that's not how though, really though. Whitey though met him though, but Whitey saw how he carried himself and how he was just, was a very tough guy. One day, Whitey says, "Hey, take a ride with me." They got in a car. It wasn't one of the Angelos like in Black Mass and all that. And it was, I think, something to do with Whitey's niece or nephew or something. I could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. But it wasn't an Angelo like in the movie. And when he's like, "Say hello to Joey, Angelo," and this and that, it was nothing though like that with them either. Like with the Angelos, like like there's just so much that people don't understand though with this whole story. But anyway, he Kevin Weeks gets in the car with him and he's in the back seat and there's a guy in the front, just like in the movie, but it wasn't an Angelo. And Whitey eventually, I guess, pulls over, parks, and he just starts hitting the guy. And then Kevin Weeks just like, I mean, as anyone would be like, "What the fuck?" And then, then he starts though hitting the guy. And after that, Whitey, I think it was a couple of days later, handed him an envelope. I think it was $1,000 or whatever. I mean, this is 1978, 79. I don't know the exact dates, but or whatever. But I mean, that's a lot of money. And then I think he did something else though for him. No, he got like $5,000. He's like, "You need anyone else beat up?" The way how he explains it's funny, But and then ever since then, I mean, Kevin Weeks was around him every single like he was with them constantly. If you see all the surveillance photos, it's always Kevin Weeks though next to him. It's like even when Whitey was with Stevie, the one photo with the Lind, they're all sitting there in the park in the lawn chairs, and he was literally everywhere with them. So yeah, I mean, to think about, I mean, a guy like Whitey Bulger to have someone though like him around, I mean, of course he had to be tough and have no hesitancy because according to Kevin Weeks, he's like, I mean, Whitey would run people over with their car. Like he'd see somebody just run him over to, so he'd stab you, he'd shoot you, run you over with cars. He was out of his mind. But this picture to always find, I just always find this picture interesting though. It's like they're almost like all in like uniform, and then Whitey is like in black. That's I would say I believe that's Castle Island, but there's Kevin Weeks right next to him, and then there's Stevie Flemmy all the way to the left, the guy that was scared and was trying to get out of that life and turn his life around for the better. I'm obviously being facetious there, but Whitey would have his, he couldn't drink. He couldn't, like, like he wanted his, wanted him sure. He was a very disciplined man, like very disciplined. And then I was always curious. I'm like, well, how does this guy get out of prison and then all of a sudden like, take over everything and this and that. But what happened though was he was very capable man, but then it was like he had the respect factor because he was in Alcatraz. Like that was that was a big deal in the criminal underworld. And then after Howie Winter went away, and then when Pat and E and Whitey made the alliance, like, hey, this war is stupid. We're not making any money. Then, that's all who's left. And I think Pat though went away I want to say it was in the 80s. I read the book, but it's a good book too. Criminal and Irishman. Check it out. But then I would assume, and that's like when Whitey though just was the one that took, because Whitey was the boss, absolutely. Because well, I always thought he was the boss because Stevie Flemmy though, I used to think though was because the Deborah Hussey and Debbie Davis, like like I thought that he was forced in like killing them. But in the book, though, Moderano's book, he's saying, though, that Whitey, though, didn't kill those women. So who knows? There was no finding on Deborah Davis in the court case. I believe he was charged with Deborah Hussey. Out of the 19, he was charged with 11. He definitely killed like over 40 people. But and he didn't start killing until he was like 45 years old. Like I'm that's like 2 years away from where I'm at right now. So it makes you wonder. He's a bank robber. And he was just a wild man running around, stealing cars, that type of stuff. Was always into criminality. Don't get me wrong, but and no, and a lot of people like say, oh, it was the MK Ultra, the government made him like that and all. Yeah, I mean, the MK Ultra absolutely had effects on him. Like he'd scream at night and stuff. I talked to people who were in prison with them, and it fucked up his head and stuff. But he was sociopathic though from day one. Like like even like Pat was like, he wasn't really a guy that you could sit down with and socialize with. Like he didn't like going out. Like he wasn't a people person. Like Pat and he will blow your, like he'll shoot you with a shotgun, but at the same time you could watch a ball game with them. So that's where the difference is there. Kevin Weeks seems like you could socialize with him, but at the same time, though, he'll break your face if he needs to. So, and then this story too with the liquor mart, that's actually all these photos are Mayan, by the way, too. So, Stephen Rakes, he was killed with cyanide. Everyone thinks it was Whitey who did it. No, Stephen Rakes wasn't though as much of an angel as everyone thinks he was with business dealings and stuff. And so they say Kevin Weeks and Whitey went to the house, and Whitey's there, and Whitey's like, we're taking the fucking store, we're taking the fucking store, and Kevin Weeks like was bullying him, and that that there was a gun on the table, and they put the the baby or something was teething on it, and saying that about the kid that they're wanted to be, that didn't happen according to and I believe that after looking into Stephen Rakes' his business dealings, and Whitey had nothing to do with that murder, and he got murdered from just someone else through a business deal. Like he wasn't like he wasn't the victim that everyone's. Yes, they took his, but I mean they wasn't like they had $75,000 in a bag though. They offering him. They just wanted to be partners, and yeah, I mean it's still a strong arm tactic. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't go down though the way that Stephen Rakes says though that it went down. And it's just weird. He dies the next day, the day that he was supposed to die, but they took him off. Like he wasn't even going to testify anyway, and he was waiting all these years. But then they found him dead in the park, and then everyone's like, "Oh, Whitey did it." Like, why? No, he didn't do it. It was someone else with cyanide. And why would Whitey kill him out of everyone? It makes no sense. So he definitely didn't kill Stephen Rakes, but that was still though a little bizarre with the timing and all that. To be honest, this is just a half-ass, like just a little run through I'm doing I still find out new information, especially from like, when he's on the run those years and when he was in prison from the people though that I talked to. Um what's up, Prez? Oh, okay. Yeah, there he is. What's going on, my man? Yeah, you told me though you were into his on you said the same exact thing though about Patney. So there he is. James never said a bad word about Pat. Lots of respect for him. Yeah, I talked to Chip the other day, and we were talking about you, and email me up, my man. Uh, that's why, like, I was just like, I thought though that I thought it was more. According to Chip, he's like he actually liked the guy. I thought it was a respect thing though, because Pat like actually like they were fighting against each other, and Whitey, it's just like when you get in a fist fight with someone afterwards though, it's like okay, you respect that person or whatnot. I thought it was more of a thing like that, but from all the stuff that I've been gathering and where the papers that Chip was talking about, the ladder in the room, um, and I put that clip up that yeah, he really did like him. Maybe not way back in the time, like when you're there, but maybe like when he's on the run for 16 years and thinking things over and really like thinking like, who is actually like the most solid out of everyone out there. Because you got to remember, and it's a tough thing, man. What do you do? Like, it's so easy for people to say Kevin Weeks, Kevin 2 weeks and all that type of stuff, but I bet you wouldn't say it to his face. And like when you're told though that your boss though is an FBI informant, like I don't know, and giving up this and that. And his own lawyer told him, though, like, listen, man, they're giving up Stevie, like, fuck, if you know the story, you should go on Bean Shooter. To go type, if you guys type in Bean Shooters on YouTube and watch the Kevin Weeks interview, that one's real good too, where he explains what was going on. Kevin Weeks was a tough guy. So wait, that's where we left off last night. I like to get to everyone. Frank, I see you. I'm glad your surgery went well, my friend. I know I already said that 3 times, but for real, I'm just thinking of it, and that's great. Dave, what's going on? Talked to you earlier, my man. So the episode that I told you that I was supposed to do, that didn't happen though, because stuff just always pops off in normal life. But I figured I'd just run a live, which I'm doing now, and just do a little breakthrough because people in comment sections are like arguing, like, you guys are idiots. He was leader of the Winter Hill Gang. No, he wasn't. So that's Whitey had nothing to do with the Winter Hill Gang. That was done in 1978. I saw a few of your shorts where you were showing Raymond's old headquarters. I found it super interesting. Did you do a big content wipe recently? I'd love to see some of your older stuff to get caught up. Yes, I did do a content wipe out of my own stupidity. But yeah, I still have that video and other videos though. They'll be everything though will be going back up. But that was just out of my own stupidity. So that was the old Coinomatic that you're talking about. But I'll get that back up out in Providence, Rhode Island there. What's up, my man? There's Dominic. Chad, been here in Loomis all day, going through older content. Grade A, my friend. Appreciate you, Dominic. Thank you. Thank you a lot, man. Italian Stallion. Hi, Eric. There's a new book out called Patriarcha Purge, all about the New England wars in the 90s. You should check it out in the Kindle books. You know what? I will do that right now, this second. And that is called the 90, the Patriarcha Purge. Patriarcha Purge. And if you guys haven't seen Bloody Boston, it's 2 parts. It's like an hour and a half. It's like 3 hours long. It's free on Tubi. Check that out too. Yeah, the patriarch of Purge. The patriarch of Purge. Loyalty is a fragile thing in the underworld through the eyes of Vincent Gigi Marino, a loyal soldier caught in the crossfire. The patriarch of Purge takes you into the deep shadow of Boston. So this is from a legit source, because there's a guy running around now. I'm just going to say his first name, Sean, who absolutely had nothing to do with anyone out there. That's all lies, all complete lies. Uncle Whitey and Uncle, I think even Uncle Kevin once. Turn on that episode. Go. Yeah. Here. Let's check this out real quick. If I could do it. Give me 1 second. Show you guys right now. All right. Search. Like this is probably one of my favorite podcasts. He's been on Instagram for a while, Bean Shooter, but I love what he does. And let me go back over to the StreamYard. So, all right, share screen. All right, so here's Kevin Weeks. And he'll tell you right here too about the Winter Hill gangs for people in my comment section who are like, no, like, because I guess John or whatever said that Whitey was involved with the Winter Hill gang, whatever, and that's what they were arguing about. But no, they were done in 78. But that doesn't discredit anything though with Tim. Like, he definitely ran all the drugs for him. All right, you guys could see that, right? I'm going to have to actually unplug this so I could hear this. And all right. Let me go back. Here we go. Again, this is Bean Shooter's Gallery. Subscribe up, guys.
I know we had some mutual friends, and on St. Patrick's Day, I was over someone's house, and he come by, he knew I was there. He come in, and he's like, "Where's Bundy?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, Kev, you know Bundy?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I love Bundy." That's when I said I got to start getting rid of Bundy. I think he's starting to steal my thunder a little bit. But yeah, we're back. I was away for a week. I was in Florida. A few things happened, unfortunately. Like, I was just speaking with Kevin and Bundy about it. I hate to even give this guy any more publicity, but he actually got his book published, Sean Wick, which is just a travesty. Who, we'll touch on him a little bit. Who called Kevin his Uncle Kevin, and a few other guys. Saying he was involved with. Actually, I never heard anybody call Whitey Bulger Jim except you. I've seen you in interviews, so he must have stole that. He must have stole that from you. And obviously he's saying he was. Nothing adds up, and I keep. It's like beating a dead horse, right? His timelines and everything else, where it was just impossible, basically, right, for him to even be involved in any Marshall Motors and this and that.
Everything he said's a lie.
Yeah.
No one knew him.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that right away. I didn't know it for fact, but just listening to him, for a few minutes, I knew he was a complete stroker, like saying he's involved in Winter Hill. I mean, when was Winter Hill gone out of Somerville? And
78, when the racetrack fix come down.
That's from there.
And then from there, it went to Lancaster Street. And then Lancaster Street, they wired it up and bugged it and everything. And then basically we rule over South Boston. And most of the members of Winter Hill were either on the run or in prison.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was no to speak of Winter Hill at Marshall Motors anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, in my lifetime, and I'm 15 years older than this kid, and I was only over there twice in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So it don't even make sense. Lancaster Street. And if anyone who's ever read any of the, the local, books, obviously about Whitey and you and Steve Flemmy and all that, Lancaster Street was the garage that the state police bugged. And then, John Conley who tipped you off?
No. Here's the thing. It was a state police lieutenant that tipped us off.
Really?
He was good friends with Stevie, and he was in a real sensitive position. And anytime like wiretaps, things like that, they had to get authorization, approval for the money and everything.
Yeah.
And it went by his desk.
Wow.
So we knew the place was wired before the wire actually went into effect.
Yeah.
They like to blame, Conley and this one. And there was another guy that was involved with Jerry and Julo. He used to do all the debugging for him and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This is NASA, something like that. And he was involved, and he told us that it was bugged. So
you had to come from every angle.
Yeah.
I remember reading the book. I actually read I read Black Mass. I was in Detox. I was in Spectrum. But I remember it's one of those books, like I'm a true crime guy anyway, one of those books you can't put down. And especially because, if you're from the area or a few people or, I'm from Lowell, obviously. I'm from outside of Boston. But still, when I'm seeing a movie and it's based in Boston and, I know that area, I know this. It's just, obviously it's cool when you're reading something about or, even if you know some people on the fringe of it, it's,
Yeah, I mean, it was a movie. It was geographically, chronologically wrong. And the incidents that took place were wrong. Things that happened.
The book or the movie?
Both.
Really? I read the book. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah.
I just saw a clip the other day
money.
where you're outside a bar and that's the only thing I've ever seen from the movie.
And who they got playing me? Jesse Plemons.
I don't even know who it is.
He's got tits like a girl.
So check out that's Bean Shooters. If nobody knows though, that's a great podcast. Check that out though. But this is the actual article. That though I pull up though for the FBI race fixing scheme where Joe's father, my good friend Buffalino's father, Angelo, was allegedly involved with, but he won though the case. And and this was like in 74 was unfolded Friday with the arrest of 4 Luzerne County men said to be part of a ring with the operated throughout the county, taken into custody by agents from the Wilkes-Barre office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, where Angelo Buffalino, 48, of blah, 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 Pine Street, Pittston, Angelo's son, Joseph Chandra, and Paul Whiteman. The 4 men were brought before U.S. magistrate, also indicted, but the main guy though that was coming down was this Tony Shula, and that was that's where it doesn't add up when you type in Whitey Bulger and Russell Buffalino, and Whitey Bulger was talking to because Howie Winter would still be around though, and not in prison, and but he was close though with Russell, and there's a prison photo of them two together on Google, but he said it right there. Winter Hill, that was done in 1978, and in that garage that they're talking about was where you can always see Whitey with surveillance photos. Not photos, with the actual video footage. You just type in Whitey Bulger surveillance, and you could see everyone coming in and out of it though. But so they weren't really named again, like it wasn't like they didn't have like a name. Like it was Winter Hill. After Winter Hill, that was it. So, But in the Boston gang war days, and Boston's the most craziest out of them all. Everyone I said this a couple episodes ago before. Like everyone talks about that Colombo War. How many people were killed in that? Like 8 or 9. I'm not saying like I'm not glorifying or whatever, but I mean compared to the Boston gang wars, the Colombo War is like a game of patty cake for real. There's a lot of serious people out in Boston, but let me catch back up with some of these comments. But Adam, yes, I'll get them back up, my friend. Thank you. And thank you, Italian Stallion. I already got that, though. So I'm trusting that source is good. And then you guys just heard him say, Kevin Week said about that. Sean, I'm sure you guys seen him on some shows. He's not who it's unbelievable. Like where do they like how I just don't get it. Like how he said about Panisi, like with what he said about Russ's fingers and stuff like that. But that's different because he was actually a made guy. But well, that's even kind of weirder. He's a made guy and he just has to make up stories for content. But this guy was just nothing. And he's saying all this and he's going on a tour. And then he gets a huge publishing, from a big publishing company. I mean, doesn't anyone like vet these? I don't understand. Like, if someone comes on even this show, even when I had Fish on, remember Fish, guys? I got his paperwork. I think I still have his paperwork right. I'm not going to show it or nothing. Yeah, right here. This one's against Bobby Luisi, though. This paperwork here, though. But I know I have his paperwork around somewhere, though. But even a tiny little show like this, what I have, you got to vet though these people, and it's unbelievable that this guy is going around doing all these podcasts, and it's old news. Everyone knew about it for a while. I mean, that episode was from a while ago, but now he's like resurfacing and still doing it. And I don't know, just calling him Uncle Kevin. Kevin Weeks is sitting there, right? Like that just takes I don't know, like you got to really be damaged in the head to really think that, especially when the people are still like alive and could easily just be like no. And then I heard though that they were going to sue a bunch of people, whoever was the publishing company who was ever talking bad on them or whatever though. But I heard the book though did terrible and this and that. And then someone told me, because we did one called Winter Hill Imposter, and me and Gooch, and I heard that that my podcast was named as one getting sued, and I was like, oh, fucking thinking Rocky, sue me for what? My laptop. But yeah, so if you guys ever see though that Sean, no, not true. All right, Deborah Day. I have always been fascinated with the mob. Interesting, Whitey Bulger's story. As soon as the news came out about Bulger being found, I knew he was a dead man. Well, he wouldn't have been a dead man if he didn't though go to Hazelden, which is odd, because he was in Tucson, and what story that happened there is he was actually getting protection though in there. The natives liked him, and what happened was that I'll show you right here. Someone stabbed him in his sleep in the head, and something War Jack or War, I forget his name. Chip was telling me though, but the big man all the way over there to the right though handled that though. So that whole photo session too, like they were like Whitey was like nuts about it, like he was getting like all the tickets and he was the one that controlled it all and was like all excited about, like he was just a very organized, like that's why I think he was able to stay on the run, besides the fact I don't think they wanted to find him. I mean, they didn't release the Catherine Gregg reward thing. Like they just figured that out. The guy brings Teresa Stanley back to Southie and then picks up Catherine Gregg, and the FBI doesn't come and talk to Teresa Stanley for 13 months when she knew his alias and all that. They didn't want to find him. And that's why even during the arrest, the state troopers, the FBI is like, no, we'll get Whitey. And then the state troopers, Stadies picked up Stevie, but Whitey was already gone and he planned for it. and he's right here. I was there. I mean, that's where he was the whole time for the most part. He had some stops, stopped in Indiana, stopped at other places, but he was staying at the Princess Eugenia. So his where Whitey was, if you're looking at that building right there, all the way to the top right, and he had one of those boxing dummies, Bob, as a lot of people call him, that that you could punch. That looks like a human with like a cowboy hat on in the window, looking out, and and then that's the parking garage. And then inside there, they said that someone broke into his storage locker, and Whitey comes downstairs to check it out, and they're like, "Get on the ground, get on the ground, get on." No, they said, "Get on your knees, get on your knees." And Whitey goes, "You get on your fucking knees," like immediately. And what did Whitey tell him? He's like, "If this was me 20 years ago, because he wasn't on his game, he's been retired for so long." Um, he was like, because he always said that if he would get caught, and I mean, they found like grenades, they found all those guns, um, they've 800 and some thousand dollars in the wall. He said he would always say, like, he's going out like in a blaze of glory. So that's why when they approached, I mean, they planned a good ruse out to get him out, and but 16 years right there, he's right next to Bin Laden, and then you just come up with the idea. Well, you know what? Catherine Gregg's been with him this whole time. Why don't we put a reward out for her? And then they do that in literally like 48 hours. Boom, got him. They got him. So that right there tells me that I think my personal belief, I don't know, is that when the new generation of agents or whatever came in, then that's what happened. But there is some crazy shit though that if you know about Morris taking the heart attack on the phone when Whitey called him and stuff like that. And I'm not going to say that right now, but the reason I know why he went to the spotlight team, and nobody, like, it's not public knowledge yet or public record or anything, and it's sickening that guy's out and about because crying on a stand. If you see the clip, and that wasn't during the Whitey trial, that was during John Connolly's trial in Florida. But he's a piece of shit, that guy. James was very smart and knew a lot about history. Good at chess also. Yeah, Chip wanted me to tell you, Prez, that Whitey never played chess. Not once. I'm being honest with you, too. He said that he never played chess. Chip was the one that played chess and was fantastic at playing chess. Chris, Sean Hawk. I love when people say Whitey was the head of the Winter Hill gang. He was a Southie guy. Winter Hill is Somerville, guys. My dad is from Somerville. I'm from Seatown. Chris, were you the one that said all that in the comment? And then I was like, yeah, no, 1978 is when it was done. Because it was I don't know if I'm seeing your like full name, but it was like it was definitely Chris something that had the correct answer, which was you, if it was you. But someone else though was right, and because they are very, very skeptical about something that someone was saying. And Gigi, I truly believe he believes himself. Who are you talking about, Prez? I truly believe he believes himself. Who? Chris, I don't even know who you're talking about, my man. Oh, yeah, Sean. Yeah, I know. Like, well, it's so pathological. Like, that's like real pathological, like where they believe their own. It's the one story that he was saying. I'm not even going to get into it. I mean, it's old news. Bean Shooter already exposed it like way back. I mean, that Kevin Weeks interview was, and even Bean Shooter even did it before. But I'm saying, just watch who you guys, listen to or what books but there was another guy too. another book out there about Bulger, Eddie McKenzie. He wasn't as bad as I think he was like at least from there and like might have like been like an actual tough guy. I don't know, but this guy who's out now doing these tours is just it's laughable. Yeah, Chris Danju, everyone knows as Chris Crean. Oh yeah, you're right. My bad, my fault. Chris Sean Hick. Yeah, no, they call him Sean Wick. I believe John Connolly is out on compassionate release now. The FBI guy, he is, and he was very sick, and he was very sick when I was out there, and uh, he wasn't like they were saying he wasn't supposed to make it, but I think he's still alive. But he did, yeah, he is out. And think about it, he's the only one though that didn't who was all charged up or whatever though that you would think though because he was on the law though he didn't say a word. He took the 40 years on the chin. Like he was very 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 loyal to the Bulgers. I guess he looked up to Whitey. He really liked Billy a lot. Billy was very smart. Both Bulger brothers are very smart. They just obviously went two completely different paths. Limos, honestly, bro, I love the show, man. Mike Lee is awesome. Yeah, he's funny as hell, man. He's great. You know what I love about him too, though, man, is that he was and so was I. I'm over 3 years now. He had his problems with addiction, and what I love about him, though, is you know, he was, as bad as you could pretty much basically get. I get that 100%. And he turned his whole life around and he has sober homes and stuff, but not just like, he's there at the sober homes, making the guys laugh. He's in there helping them out by like doing stuff like he's genuinely, genuinely a good man. And because I know people who, I know a lot of people in the, I worked in, did marketing and stuff like that. And I remember I was dying for my job back out in Philly for $15 an hour when I was making I had a good salary as a marketer where they were just they do like patient brokering where like they'll give you an envelope if you like, get someone else to come in. And then two of the places I worked for got shut down by the feds. And I just didn't feel right. Listen, you're not selling cars, you're dealing with human beings at their most vulnerable moment. You know what I mean? So a lot of shadiness there, but I like though with what Mike does though, because you always see him there at the houses with the guys. The one guy who's trying to help out for like the longest time. And I just say, and I know people who own like those houses and they don't check in or do whatever, this or that. I think he's a great guy and I love his podcast. I heard that Whitey was convicted of rape before. No, he wasn't convicted. Never was convicted of rape, but there is the allegation of it though, but not convicted. Close, but not convicted. Loomis, LOL, autocorrect sucks. Oh, I know. I just got a new phone because when my dog died, I was holding my phone and I'm like petting her. I was about 5 weeks ago and I'm petting her like bawling. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was bawling my eyes out. I didn't bawl that much for humans, but I mean I was bawling my eyes out. And then I even realized that like 10 minutes later when I broke out of it, I looked up my phone was freaking cracked. So now I have this one and it's like it's terrible. So I guess it has to get used to the words. But if you guys watched the show though before, Ozzy's back here with me now. So I don't give a shit what anyone says, man. Pets are family, It's not just a dog. They're tough to lose. That was a tough one. I still get choked up when I think of that. Johnny Bart too, man. What a great guy and had an amazing redemption story. Oh yeah, man. The Hell's Angels, yeah. You know what, too, and he's just so positive. That's the thing. Like, that's the other thing. Like, there's other people out there that are, people that'll say that are stand up guys, this and that, and that's great and everything like that. But that he just oozes positivity, and he's, yeah, I know that I know who you're talking about. I don't know him. I'm saying I know who you're talking about, and I like what he's doing, and you could like tell, like like I'm pretty good though at reading people. He's sincere and did a lot of time, and he was wild, and if he's always around, like because he's smart now too. He's surrounded. That's what you got to do. You got to surround yourself. It's all about who you surround yourself with. Whoever is in your circle. Show me your friends. I'll show you your future. That's the truth. Thanks for clearing that up for me. Oh, yeah, yeah, no problem, my man, no problem. I learn a lot on here too. Like, I don't know everything, like, you know what I mean? So I learn a lot from like the chat at times. We all screw up on things. Was it Medicaid fraud that shut the places down? Oh, yeah, 100%. Another thing though that they were doing too was uh they would say they take someone in off the street and they would say, do you have insurance? And they'd be like, no. And they're like, okay, do you have a family? Yeah. All right. Do they have at least I was like, yeah, it was $600 a month. So they'd be like, do they have like $1,200 at least in their bank account? Yeah. So what they would do is they would take the guy in, they would give the people the $1,200 cash, and then after then they would take it out of their account and keep like the money. So it looked like, there's the trail. They got it from the account. And they thought it was a loophole for a while, but they were given cash straight out. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you take in someone who's homeless, right? But they have a family and all that. The family don't want them at the house anymore, right? So what they're doing is they come up to them, they say, hey, we'll take you in, but do you have family with like, a bank account that at least has, so, 6 to 1,200, because the insurance at the time was $600 a month, right? So if they say, well, yeah, blah, 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 but my family's not talking to me, they'll talk to the family. Listen, we really want to help out though your son. And we really think, we see something special in them. Like, yeah, like it's like just a bunch of like BS. So what happens is they hand $1,200 to the family because they have to suck it out of their account. And that's where they think though that they were actually getting the loophole from. But no, you can't do that. And I mean, there were some places down in Florida though, like where they were wanting the people to get high again, like to get back in and stuff. Like, I mean, it's a disgusting, grimy business. I worked for Center City Recovery in Philadelphia. I live in Philadelphia and South Philly on the corner of 17th and Snyder. And I was out there for a good, I'd say, because I went there too as like a patient to get clean in 2000, at the end of 2017. So I was out there but what they were doing though was they were actually, I was the guy who was at the house with all the, like, you know what I'm saying? I was just not alumni coordinator. That was a job that I was actually trying to go for because I graduated, I was an alumni there, but not house manager. Why can't I think? Because that's what I was in New York. I'm a behavioral health technician, PhD. So, and then he'd give them their meds at night, make sure they're in their rooms at night, all that, in Philly with the 3-floor, 3-story apartments. So 3-story housing or whatnot. And so what this place was doing though, this was different. They were going to so you go to detox and rehab first, and then the Center City Recovery place is like a place that you go to after rehab, like where like you're living in home and housing, but you got to go. They drive. Then I would drive them to the center in Center City, like the actual place where they would get their counseling and all that till 3 p.m. Take them back home, but they're allowed to leave the house and all that after their 48-hour blackout period and give them their phone back. But they had marketers that were going instead, like, just to just get that little edge up. I'll tell you the two things they were doing. They were telling everyone, first off, we'll give you a pack of cigarettes of your choice every day. We'll buy you a pack of cigarettes. You can't do that. Then this is what I couldn't believe, because I got scholarshiped out there because my one good friend Olin know out there, he's really involved with like a lot of tree. He's one of the greatest. Like he's in it to like really help people. Like, there's a lot of people who aren't, but he's legit. And he just got me like the scholarship. He had no idea what was going on. And I'm there. And so I saw the cigarette thing and I'm like, wow, man, no, I've been to a lot of fucking treatment places before, and that never happened before. But I wasn't thinking like, whatever. But also they said, all right, Eric, you got to go and get your access card now. I'm like, my access for what? They're like, well, you got to get food stamps. And I was like, well, no, I got money. I don't need, I'm good. I don't need. They're like, no, but you still have to know, it's a policy. So even though if like, so right then and there, I should have known, like, wait, what? So the money that they're getting for me for even if scholarship people, they're like, they're right. I was like, they still make money on them. But just for like even the real clients, the money that they're getting, that covers their food and everything like that. But they had them doing welfare for, like, they had them going to the welfare office to actually get their access card and pocketing the money that would have been going towards the food. So one day, I drive back out because I was seeing a new girl at the time. So at this point, I remember I was coming in on weekends. And I remember I drive back out, I go to work, everything's fine. We wake everyone up, and then we show up at the office. And my man Red from Philly, if you were like, dude, sometimes he's in on here. I wish he was here now though, because he was there. You take him up the elevator, Center City Recovery. We went in, flashes, freaking caution tape, all that. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they're like, oh, you work here? For a second, I was like, I'm like, how should I even answer this? But I was like, I don't, I didn't do nothing. I had nothing to do with the finances, nothing to do with whatever. I was just a BHT and the guy who drove the clients around. And, but that's what happened. And, they got busted for that. The cigarette thing is one thing. You can't entice to bring them in over another, you know what I mean? So they were doing that, but that welfare, fraud, taking advantage like that way and pocketing the money. And there's one because I can't get into it yet, but it happened years ago. But one of my friends opened up a rehab. I'm not going to say his name, and he did that. And to this day, I'm like, why? And he did it because it fucking he had a $350,000 salary a year, right? $350,000 salary, and he just started doing it right off the bat. Like, I could see if someone's tempted, like, when you might lose the business or whatever, but like to this day, I'm still like, why? And then before the feds got him, they found him. He's not here anymore. He passed away in Florida. But it's just crazy. It could be a very dirty business. But when you watch someone like Mike Lee, from who we were just watching, you could tell I like what he does. He's genuine. I like we discussed earlier, why wasn't Bulger in ADX? They put Sammy in ADX. But why not Whitey? Well, Sammy, though, that was a whole different it's a good question, though, actually, when you really think about it, though, because he shouldn't have been. He was very high profile. No one knows why with the Hazelden and how he got it and this and that. Some people say, oh, he knew too much and he was going to talk and he was going to say nothing. He didn't say a thing in his trial. And I don't know. He absolutely was an informant, but not to the degree, though, where I don't think to the degree where everyone else was. Stephen Fleming, yeah. Because he was since 65 when H. Paul Rica, he was extremely, you want to talk about as dirty as you could get of an agent. 100%. There was other agents involved, but it was crazy. It was that whole story is just nuts. I have a couple properties that are used as transitional housing, and one of our managers, Sashinte consultants, were getting wild with billing. If we didn't discover it, they would have killed us. Oh yeah, you got to stay on top of that. Stay on top of that. So that would have fell on you just because you owned the actual though property, but they're running the business though, and because also you own the real estate, what they have then the business is inside the real estate you're owning. I'm assuming you're saying, and that would have then you would have got screwed for that. Well, yeah, because I actually doesn't it work though? That like you have to be, yeah, I can see how that falls back now on because it's not like let's say I come up to you, Dom, and I'm like, hey, I want to rent or from you, or yeah, I want to rent this place from you. I can't just start a recovery freaking place in there because I just rented from you. Like you have to know though. So I see what you're saying now. I got it. It's freaking crazy. Detroit Siggy, what's up, G? Can I ask what Gene charged you for the interview? He had nothing at all. Walking out of the post office, Gucci's the one who hooked that up. I never once paid for an interview. Once. That's honest to God's truth. Not once. I don't have money to pay to. I don't have money to pay for interviews and stuff like that. And if you think about it, I have what is it? I don't make money on this. I just do this as like more like a passion thing. Though he wanted to do it. I'm actually in Orlando as we speak. Yeah. Well, they put Sammy there to protect him. Well, that's right. Yeah, Florida was bad with all that stuff. I used to live in Tampa. I went to Tampa right out of high school. I lived right on Bush Boulevard, then Daytona for a little while, then Ocala, Hillsborough County, though. That was wild by Ybor City. I wasn't even 21 yet at the time. But I thought I was going to like all sunny palm trees and stuff. And next thing I know, I'm like ducking under gunfire and shit in Hillsborough County. You know, don't be fooled. Some places, you got it. You got to, I mean, I was young, dumb, full of rum and cum. I didn't know. So wasn't Whitey like telling them shit the feds already knew, not justifying it? Just that's what I always heard. It. Yeah, like he wasn't giving them like important. Well, they say that he's the one though that gave the location though to the Prince Street house, and then for the remember the induction ceremony that happened. Who knows? I mean, I'm not he was an informant. I'm just saying though, to the level that they say, if you look at the files, it's real shady. Someone was absolutely helping him out, and he was like more pulling. I think like he got it to where he was pulling. He was the puppet master of who we had under him because he was getting gifts from him, C4, explosive type shit, all that type of stuff. So I don't think Gene is bad. He's made out. I don't think Gene is as bad as he's made out to be. Well, here's my thing. Here's my whole take on everyone. I don't judge. I did bad stuff in my time. I was, not gangsterized or whatever, though, but I don't go around and point fingers and call this person that or this. Why? Because I wasn't put to the test. For example, you'll never hear me. And I even said that you heard me. I tell people and I don't kiss ass. I even told Gene on that show. I'm like, well, you signed up for it. And then I even told him, I'm not afraid of you, but other people get oh, we all put our pants on at the end at the end of the day the same, and we all bleed red. It's I mean, yeah, I just don't like. I mean, even if he's seeing this right now, I don't like though how he's still though. Like, get. I'm about if someone's gonna really try. If they live that life, I- I'm not interested in having someone on though that's promoting or whatever that life though. But I don't know if you noticed. And I was like, wait, so you're still like getting into salts and stuff like that, and doing this or that. I thought like it was about the kids and stuff like that, and whatever. But I don't know. Like, and also, I'm not going to be someone because it's all easy for all of us to yell, rats, 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 right? But, like, until I'm put to that test, I'm like, do I think I would do that? No, I don't think I would. But you don't know until you're actually put to the test. Just like you don't know how good of a friend you have until, you two are walking down the street and four guys jump you. And is that friend going to stand there? Nobody knows anything until people are tested. That's just the truth of the matter. But at the same time, though, I see a lot of people though that come on though these shows and podcasts that just yell that word though to people and never though like lived though a criminal life, never served any time, and it's easy to do that. Listen, I always say you could do that as long as you walk up to them and do it. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like I said before, with like people were saying, since we're talking about, I still have because I see him right there on the screen. Kevin Weeks when they were calling him to like yeah, people will say that, but go tell him that. You know what I mean? Instead of behind the computer. The Gene comment meaning like everyone thinks he's a dick and all this. I think he's okay. No, listen, you're entitled to your own opinion. I didn't say anything though. I'm just saying that I just don't uh that's like I stay impartial. If I'm having someone on, I'm being impartial. But I had him on for a reason, and that's that he wanted to come on, and that's how it all. And Siggy, that's why it all worked out that way because the hypocritical shit that goes on in this genre. Give me a break. Give me a break. You know, someone's gonna call me a rat for having someone on who cooperated though before when they go on those shows that had the biggest rats in the world on, but since though they have more numbers and where's the integrity? You know what I mean? So give me a break. That's why I called that the hypocrisy of the mob genre because it's just the truth. But that's dead and gone now on my end. I didn't mean you, Loomis. I meant in regards to the comment of how much. No, I know that, but no, I know. I'm just saying, just in. I just took your comment. I was just speaking, just like in general, like that. Don't make you a rat. No, no, no. What makes me a rat is if I go and cooperate on someone. It's like but they could go on. But that's I'm saying, though, that's their mentality. It doesn't make any sense, and no, I'm not. I see. I'm not getting pulled back into whatever happened with whatever. You guys already know that situation. And yeah, whatever. I called it too the whole time. I was like, second though, after you made that, like on New Year's Eve, when he's like, yeah, me and Loomis are going to be boom, boom, boom. And I even said, I'm like, even 2 weeks before that, I'm like, um, when I interviewed Eric Law, he's like, I don't care. I don't listen to no man. Whitey couldn't even control me, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay. Okay. Loomis, you're interested in the Canadian crime, but have you looked up the Seattle area? No, you brought up that yesterday, I believe. But I'm definitely interested though in that. Uh Canada, I'm fascinated at the fact of how it's still like the old days to this day. Seattle, no. If you could, my email's in the homepage too, man. If you could ever like email me up over some stuff, or if you could put up a link in this chat, that would be great. Ron, what's up, Ron Archer? You can have Bobby Bright on again. Bobby's coming on once a week, but me and Bob, I'm going out too to see Bobby in Canada, and we're doing a whole thing out there. I'll be out there in May for like at least a good 2 weeks, and Bobby's like part of the show now. Yeah, 100%. A great guy. I talk to every single day. I talk to Bobby. Fantastic fucking gentleman. I love that guy. But yes, he will be on. Absolutely. We just start trying to get down like, the day that would be good. We're not like, like one day it's Tuesday, the next week it's this day. We want to have it like solid, like on a day. Like my main real topic live is like yesterday when I had Brett on, like Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's when I'll always be live weekly. Tonight, I just wanted to do this for the comments section. And like, I was supposed to do a pre-record on it and with the Bulger thing. And I just realized like I never really did an episode on him, like an episode on him. And I know a lot about it. I mean, even if the people involved who are watching saw this, they would say that, yeah, he's right, because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. I'm from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, my friend. So if you ever heard of Scranton, you ever hear of Scranton, Wilkes-Barre? You got Pittston in the middle. If you guys like Pittston Mafia, same area Russell Buffalino is from. NEPA, Northeastern Pennsylvania. I hope he does. He's got a hell of a life story. Oh, you don't even have to hope. He definitely is. Definitely. Bobby and me are absolutely. He actually just texted me and I didn't even see what because I was doing the show. But you will see Bobby on at least once a week. And I gotta tell him right now. Bobby, I know you're working, my man, but they're already asking about you here on the live stream I'm on right now. So give me a call though when you get out, and we got to schedule up though the next one. Take care, man. Send them over a little voice text because that freaking autocorrect, like you were saying, so spell checking that. But yes, you'll be seeing a lot of Bobby on this channel, and I'm actually going out to Canada, so I can't wait for that trip. Great, glad to hear it. Bobby will show you around the neighborhood. Absolutely, and I'm bringing my good boy for that one. Bringing the real deal one out there for that one and taking some good footage, man. And I can't wait. I really can't wait. What's it, Kensington? The place out there? No, that's Philly. That's like the drug market by Fishtown out there in Philly. But no, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Northeastern Pennsylvania. Have you heard of Show The Office? Even though they didn't film it though Scranton's considered that it's the northeastern section of Pennsylvania. I'm trying to think of something that you would know. You would have known it if they made the movie The Irishman the way that they were supposed to, like by like the book, like the whole book is like it's pretty much about around this area, But and they were scouting locations back in 2005 when they should have made it, so they didn't have to do the de-aging shit. But yeah, it's that's why I say Scranton a lot on top of Wilkes-Barre. I live in Wilkes-Barre, but Scranton, because some people, that's where like our AAA team, not our triple. Yeah, our AAA team is the Yankees. Like the Yankees AAA plays there up at the stadium. And so that's another reason maybe some people might know it, but love your content, brother. I'll catch up on this one tomorrow. I'm taking off anyway, but right now, Ron. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate you, man. Really do. And I appreciate everyone else that freaking light. I appreciate everyone though who watched this. This was just a little quick little overview of Bulger. Definitely don't check out though. If you guys don't check out that bean shooter, you'll love though his stuff though. Subscribe up to him. And he's got YouTube, Chris. He's got a great Instagram page. Follow me on Instagram under Loomis Darty. It's on the it's in the description of this. And also the official and the Buffalino family. With a lot of great stuff though there, where we have a lot of memorabilia. There's Ange and Russ, Jerry Vale and Ange, a lot of Italian Civil Rights League stuff from Joe Colombo and like Russ. There's Italian belt buckles and stuff. Great, just a lot of great memorabilia, as you can see back there. There's the flag. Russ was Man of the Year back in '66, and he did a lot of good in this community. Like he did so much good around here, and that's everyone's like mafia, mafia, mafia. Yeah, I get it, but he's done though so much though for this community, and that's what we want to though get out as well. You too, Chris. Thank you very much. Lubis, be well. You too, Frank. Take care, my friend. Dominic, thank you, my friend. Watch out for those tenants. Stay on top of that, because I'm telling you, it happens a lot, as you know. But I'm sure I don't got to tell you, you're on top of it, buddy. But all right, guys. Again, hit like. I appreciate it. Share this with your friends. And we're almost at 6,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. And also subscribe to the channel. And I want to thank some people that were complimenting though. I'm going to the recording studio to record though. But the music that you hear is from me and my friend AJ Bartoletti. So it's nice because we don't have to worry about copyright and all that type of stuff. So Dave, take care. Stepping up with Scotty Stutch. What's up, Scotch? My man, right there. Scotty's from Pittston. Hometown guy. Remember that one Jagoff Scotty came on here and he's like, yeah, if you talk to me, like, God, and I'll come down your neck. And yeah, good luck, buddy. Good luck. Anyway, have a good night, Loomis. Thanks for your time, effort, and knowledge. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate it. Did I show both chip video? Yes, I did. So this is just a little quick, kind of a loose little episode, just to give you guys a little bit more insight on what's right and what's wrong with that story. With that, I'm out of here. Subscribe up and take it out with again, YouTube. You can't copyright me. This is my own music, so that's the one good thing though. Anyone out there in the YouTube world though, if you need music like scores or whatever for your channel, or if you're making any, contact me and we'll talk. Take care, guys. Oh, by the way, too, that the music you hear too is recorded like from a cell phone. So, but I'm actually going to the studio though this weekend though, so to handle that. Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone. Have a great week, and please subscribe. And Scotty Stutch, exactly.